Hi, I'm Talia.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and we are the Critics.
This week we are reviewing the Angry Birds movie. I was quite excited about it upon hearing,
Yeah.
that they were going to make it. But I think both of us were quite disappointed.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're overly serious and we don't like animation. We appreciate a movie for what it is.
I love animation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. But we just felt this one felt quite very short, and we'll tell you why soon.
Yeah.
Firstly, let's go to the obvious place where people are going to go. It's an animation, so you will compare it to other animated films.
Yeah.
Also, it was quite brave in that it wasn't out of the bigger studios like Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks.
Yes.
It was Sony, made by Sony. So already, off the bat, I was like, ready to get into it and rip it apart if it was going to be bad, which it was.
Yeah.
Compared to Disney films, if I take the latest one that I've seen, Inside Out,
Yeah.
that film was based on emotions, intangible things that they gave life to. The characters, you were invested in them, they were well written, there was depth and layers to those characters, even though they're things that you wouldn't necessarily put a face and a shape to. But Disney managed to do that very well, which they've done in most of their previous films. You compared it to another film, Matt, the Lego movie.
Well, I mean, that's the natural comparison because it's based on a toy.
Yeah.
As much as this is an apt toy, it's nonetheless the same sort of thing as the Lego movie. And I think in comparison, this just fails.
Yeah.
I think it could have learned a lot from the Lego movie. I think the Lego movie took what was good about Lego. It didn't make itself corny in its references to itself. It was smart in how it dealt with itself. Had a good plot. It had good characters. And this just had none of the above.
None of those. The same with the Disney comparison. It just fell short.
In every regard.
Yeah. Whether it was the self-awareness of it being the game Angry Birds, it missed that whole thing completely, which could have been a good comedy device. It just fell flat. Firstly, to go right into the issues we had with it, the jokes. I mean, it's an animated film that parents are going to take their kids to watch. You expect jokes for both sides.
Yeah.
Most of the jokes fell flat. It was just like not original, stuff that we'd heard before, or stuff that just didn't work with what we were being shown. It just didn't relate to what was going on at the time. The jokes and the characters didn't add up. Well, Matt will discuss why that didn't work at all. But there was no cleverness or intelligence behind the writing of the jokes. And I think that is something that you need Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks to achieve.
And for both, like I don't think, I mean, the kids laughed at some points.
But that was slapstick. I mean, it was
it was slapstick, and it was a really awkward toilet humor scene. But even, and kids will laugh at most things, right? I mean, it's pretty and it's on the screen and someone ran into a tree. That's hilarious for a kid. But from an adult side, it just completely missed the mark. I mean, jokes either took forever to set up, or they ruined what was potentially trying to be a moment, or it was obvious that the character was going to do that. Like, it was obvious that the big guy was actually a soft-hearted guy. It was obvious that the calm lady was going to have a freak-out session, and so it was like, thanks, we've seen that, can we now go on to something?
It didn't take it anywhere new.
Yeah.
And the concept of the Angry Birds game is hilarious. I mean, you play it and you ask yourself, why would birds hate pigs? And they could have just written a whole lot of nonsense into that and we would have believed it. But this just wasn't well thought out at all, and the jokes fell absolutely flat.
And when they didn't fall flat, they were just really awkward.
The adult humor, that was another major issue we had with it. It was just not even subtle. There were stripper innuendos, chaps being
Innuendos is a strong word. Like, there were strippers, there was a strip scene, there was a rape joke.
There was a pedophilia joke.
Like, none of these are particularly acceptable.
Yeah.
The scripture may have been, but like the pedophilia and the rape were obviously definitely not acceptable.
In a kid's film, you expect those quick nods for the adults to just sort of smirk and say, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But this was just like full on butts.
It was very awkward.
It was very awkward.
Yeah.
If I was a parent watching that with my child, I'd say, is this appropriate? I'd start questioning that after a while.
Yeah.
So
then let's move on to the characters themselves. And I never at any stage got behind any character. I think that the world in which we were set up with Red, who's our main character who has anger issues, you know, it was very difficult to get behind him. We were chatting about the fact that in a world where everyone's perfect, it's kind of hard to get behind someone that's basically initially just a bit of a douche.
Yeah, and his anger was misplaced.
Completely. You know, it wasn't like he was getting angry at justifiable things and people telling him to calm down even though he shouldn't be calmed down and was justified in being angry. Like, he messed up and then got angry at people for calling him out on being messed up. He destroyed things and then got angry that people were annoyed he destroyed things. And so you were just like, well, you're annoying, not someone I can get behind.
Your anger wasn't justified.
It wasn't justified at all. None of the other characters really added anything. They were obvious in what they did.
Yeah.
The Mr. Miyagi character is probably the worst portrayal of that Mr. Miyagi character we've ever seen.
The Mighty Eagle character.
The Mighty Eagle character,
so
who could have been quite funny.
Yeah, he could have.
But again, the Grandmaster, who is disappointing but ultimately teaches you something, didn't actually come across as knowing that he was going to try and teach anything. So he was a very weak character.
The pigs were also really, really weak. Like, you'd expect the leader to have a sidekick that sort of panders to his every whim, but there was nothing like that.
Yeah, because that's a classic comic trope that always works.
Exactly. Although a poster in the pigs world was Kevin Bacon in Hamlet.
Yeah. You know, you had to really search for the humour.
Yeah, you had to look up.
And so then the discussion on the pigs moves us nicely into the plot, because one of the big problems with this plot is that they never portray the pigs as evil until right near the end. For some reason they decide to pretend that the pigs are actually okay the whole way through, and only Red's, and the way that they're acting, they do come across as okay. We know they're evil because we've played the game.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when they made the movie, they decided to keep that a secret from the audience, whereas if they'd set, and we discussed this, if they'd set them up as just evil...
Before, like 1 10-second scene of the pigs just plotting to go and steal eggs from Bud Island, we'd have bought into it completely, because it also doesn't make sense then when you look at Red's motivation for hating him. Yeah.
So we would have been behind Red, we would have been against the community, we would have known what their plot was. Instead, we all have to kind of wait for the plot to be revealed when we know what the plot's going to be, we know they're going to steal the eggs, just tell us so that we can be emotionally in the right position to deal with the interaction they're on. What ends up happening is that Red just keeps looking more and more like a douche. And only right near the end is he revealed to be fine, but even then, like the tear-jerking scene at the end, just as Toll says, just completely fell flat.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Even the way they emulated the game towards the end of the movie, where, you know, they're saving the birds, etc. It just was like, but this game is awesome, you know, we've seen so many different types of things that you can do in the game.
Yeah.
But they didn't really explore that much. It just fell flat on a lot of things. It didn't show us anything new.
And I mean, and you can argue that this is just meant to be like an animated, you're not meant to take it seriously. But I think you are meant to take it.
It's an immensely popular game.
It's an immensely popular game. If it isn't doing justice to movies as a format, then all it is it's a marketing scheme, and that's not something, you know, that's particularly good, and that's definitely not a reason to go watch a movie. There's so many animated movies that are excellent on all levels, to kids, to parents, message.
Life lessons
that you grow up with and you still think back to them.
Exactly.
You know, like all the classic Disneys in our case. And this just isn't any of them.
The one positive that Matt did find from this was
that it made me appreciate Pixar so much more.
Yay, Toy Story for the win.
Very much so, exactly.
Yeah. So you don't do this again, man. Don't.
As you were saying that, I was like, well, they did do Spider-Man. I don't know what we were expecting.
Did we waste our time? I don't know.
I felt like I wasted.
Let's go and play the game after this instead.
Okay, so in terms of thumbs, I'm actually going negative. I really like animated movies, and this one it's a spit in the face to the genre for me.
It was cool seeing a bird getting shot out of a slingshot.
I can do that on my phone. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Please click like and subscribe if you want to see more. Otherwise, check out all our details to our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram in the description box below. We will keep you updated with what we're doing. I'm Matthew.
I'm Talia.
And this has been the Critics Review of Angry Birds.